up, bro? So with you.
Hey, hey, man, not much. Same old. And if you're just tuning in for the very first time, you are now listening to the Fried Bologna podcast. And this is your man, Tin Man TC.
And it's your boy High IQ.
And once again, this is the Fried Bologna podcast.
The podcast is as random as people liking the new Yeezys.
Hey, those are some ugly ass shoes. Dusty ass looking shoes. Hey, so what's going on, man? What's new?
Man, same old, man. I'm out here on the West Coast, LA, and it's every time the Lakers play, it's a big deal because it's like who Lonzo Ball is gonna go up against next, right? So,
yeah, there was that Wizards game just happened. Was that last night, right? Well, as our listeners are gonna listen to this, it happened last week. But yeah, that Wizards game that was a pretty good game though.
It was a dope game, man. I guess John Wall's getting out of flack because before the game he was saying he was gonna bring that heat to Lonzo, and I guess he didn't have like a monster game or whatever, and people were going at him. But I watched the game, man. To be honest, I mean he didn't play that well, but he didn't play that bad either. He played within himself, which I know a lot of people expect him not to do. But what do you think about Lonzo Ball, man?
I think Lonzo is pretty good. No more, no less. He's not a very aggressive player. He doesn't have a very aggressive personality. He's just kind of passive. But he's not a scorer. I don't think that's what he does. And so when he's out there on the court, I think to the average fan, they're probably like, well, what is he really doing on the court? Because he's not really doing anything special. But at the end of the game, you look at his box score, and he had about 8 assists and like 10 rebounds. So he's doing. He's active on the court. He's just not. He's not a scorer. So like I said, the average fan, if he's not scoring or playing aggressively that way, you're not really paying attention to the other good stuff he's doing on the court.
Right. Yeah. He's not going to be. I mean, well, outside of LA, he's not going to be a fan favorite. But I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I can't really think of anyone that he reminds me of. Like, I know a lot of people are even people on Fox Sports and ESPN. They're saying that they see a Jason Kidd.
I think they mean that because they're both really light skinned. Those are two of the bright skinnedest players that we've had. Hey, by the way, right? I'm glad I said that. Now I'm a light skinned dude myself. For all those who didn't know that, but I think this era of basketball is the light skinnedest era of all time. Would you not agree with that?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I have to agree with that.
Yeah. One of the biggest faces in the NBA is a bright-skinned dude by the name of Stephen Curry. His teammates, another great shooter, is a bright-skinned dude by the name of Klay Thompson. Now, those two bright-skinned dudes, are likely overshadowed by the blackest man in the game by the name of Draymond Green. But yeah, it is the light skin era. I mean, you've got Booker, bright skin. You've got Lonzo Ball, Kuzma, Like, this is the lightest skin. Funny shit is, I just named all the players that play in California. But you got the brightest skinned dudes in the NBA right now. This is a very, like, if this was the 80s, like, dark skinned dudes during the 90s were like light skinned dudes who played out. Right now they're played in. We're back. We're back, and we're back with the vengeance.
Taking the rain,
taking the rain
from Michael Jordan.
There you go. Hide your hoes. Light skinned niggas is back. We doing a big out here in these streets.
Well, yeah, we'll see about that. Actually, okay. Speaking of light skinned dudes, saw this online. A debate. Anthony Davis, light skinned dude, or the Greek Freak.
Well, see, the Greek Freak is not a dark skinned dude. He's a lighter skinned guy. He's just not as light as Anthony Davis. No, I'm saying who are you taking? Oh, between those two light skinned dudes. Yeah. Man. We in the light-skinned community do not like to pit ourselves up against one another. It's more of a brotherhood over here on this light-skinned thing. But if I had to choose, I'm going to, as it stands right now, and I did look at their numbers, and their numbers are very, very similar, I'm still going to go with Giannis. By an edge.
Yeah, I based on what I've seen so far, I don't know if you. I have to go with Giannis as well, but earlier today, I guess the Bucks played the Celtics.
Right.
And Giannis tried to kill somebody on the Celtics. He almost ended somebody's life. On the Celtics, he tried to dunk on.
Talking about the white dude, he tried to jump.
Yeah. Oh, if he had made that. Oh God. I don't know. I don't know who that dude. Who's that dude? What is this dude's name? Is it Boone? I think his name is Boone. He almost got murdered at the rim. He almost got murdered.
Yeah. His body, his soul, almost got taken on live television.
So the Greek Freak is. Now, as you know, it's very rare that I put certain players in the scary good category, but the Greek Freak is now in there. Now, recall,
I agree.
Now Westbrook made the list 2 years ago, and then I think like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer now, Derrick Rose was put in that category, but. He since then has been.
You're talking about guys with superb athleticism, and they found a way to harness that athleticism and translate it into skilled basketball. Yeah, I forgot to add another light-skinned phenom or bright-skinned phenom. Your boy Ben Simmons.
Oh man, Ben Simmons is gonna be a problem. Yeah, he's dope.
Yes, he is.
He's dope, man. He might be taking over the league in about 5 years.
Hey, maybe this league is about to belong to like 2 or 3 guys at the same time, because Giannis is going to take over the league too.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Pelicans get like one more guard, Anthony Davis and the Pelicans are about to take over the league.
That's crazy.
Oh, and then here's another light-skinned takeover for you. Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns nice too, man. Damn. It is y'all era.
Yo,
what the fuck's going on, man?
This is the light-skinned league. I'll tell you what's going on, man. Aside from bright being right and light being right, there's been a lot of interracial fucking going on. niggas is fucking white girls by the dozens, by the hundreds, and having babies with them. That's what's been going on, man.
Oh man, I really thought you were gonna come with like a legit theory. I mean, I guess, yes, technically that could be the reason.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's what's going on.
Yeah, damn. You niggas are getting stingy. You guys had R&B for a minute, and now you're taking over the NBA.
Shouts out to Al B. Shore. Shouts out to Prince. Rest in peace. Hey, we're back. We're back, and I dare a dark-skinned dude to try to come and take the throne. Come holler at us. We'll have a nice sit down, and we'll tell you how wrong you are.
The war continues.
Oh yeah, this nice, fun inter-racism we have going on in our black community.
God, I love it.
Oh, and for our listeners that are like, what the fuck is going on with my speakers? Why does Tin Man sound like that? It's because I'm currently fighting a cold. The cold won the first 9 rounds, but I'm looking for the knockout somewhere deep into the 11th, maybe early into the 12th round. So I'm still sticking and moving. I still feel fresh. I feel sharp. But again, I've lost 9 consecutive rounds. So again, hey, stay with me. I got these next 3 rounds.
Yeah, I would tell you to take some vitamin C, but apparently that shit really doesn't work. So, but what are you doing actually?
I'm taking, of course, NyQuil. I've been taking Tylenol, severe cold and sinus. I have not been taking Dayquil, and let me tell you why. Dayquil, at least for me, is somewhat of a laxative. I take Dayquil, 5-10 minutes later, I'm on the toilet.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. This must be just me. My guts don't mix with Dayquil. So if I do take Dayquil, I have to be in the house. I have to be at home, somewhere in a comfortable environment.
Man, that sucks, man. Hopefully you didn't have to figure that out when you were at the job. Ah, man, bubble guts at the job's never good.
Well, it's been there. I have been at the job before, and a very unfortunate day. I think I actually might have left work early that day. I think I thought I was sick with something else that day.
What's crazy is, while we're on the topic of bubble guts, crazy story, man. And I apologize, I'm gonna gross you the fuck out, but
oh shit, here we go.
Yeah, man. So, long night at the club, right? This is like damn near, I want to say 10 years ago, right? Now,
I better say this can't be recent. I don't.
No, no, those days are over, man. But yeah, at this club or whatever, right? And now, when I go out to the club, I'm just pretty much drinking. I'm not really trying to try these like appetizers they're passing around sometimes. So this is like a very like weird high end type. It was like more like a lounge / club or whatever, right? So,
Gotcha.
One of the girls in our group, she was dope. She was really cool. She was like a aspiring model. She's like 5'10", Colombian and Italian, top notch. So, I don't know what it was, but every time they were passing out food, she would like just immediately grab it and scarf it down, like anything, right? And
I think I know where this story is heading.
Yeah, so so we're leaving the club or whatever, and keep in mind, she was the only one that ate anything because niggas ain't really trying to eat that type of shit in the club or lounge or whatever like that. We'll just wait and go to Denny's. or IHOP. So we're leaving the club, and as we're walking out to the parking lot, she's like, "Oh man, my stomach really hurts or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, you probably ate too much of that shit that they're passing around, whatever, right?" And probably, I don't know what it was, but maybe like the fact that I said shit triggered it. But she stopped dead in the track, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And she shitted on herself, man. She shitted on herself in front of everybody in the parking lot. Yeah. No. It's a true fucking story. And I had never seen that before.
and you probably never saw her again.
She ain't showed her face since. But yeah.
There's a good chance she actually killed herself after that.
Yeah, it was one of those, like everyone's been in that situation where you see something so embarrassing, you're embarrassed for that person. And, like when a club lets out and shit, like sometimes there's people in droves leaving. So like she's standing there, shitting on herself essentially. And people are passing by and like, oh shit, Now this is like maybe 6 months, maybe a year before like the world star phenomenon happened, so it wasn't like too many cameras out there. But if that was like a year later, she would have been famous. She would have been famous. Yeah.
Well, she would have been like, famous for the wrong kinds of shit.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is perfect for our time now. Shit.
She'd have been famous for shit.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Speaking of stories, last we left off, you had a crazy story about a lesbian gang putting a hit out on you.
Yes, how could I forget about that?
Yeah. I've been thinking about this all week.
Dude, I'm surprised I never told you this story, man. This happened.
I've literally never heard this.
This happened, I want to say the summer between my sophomore and junior year of high school. And at the time, I was dating this chick. She was dope. But me and her used to get into it like every other day. And then one day, shit got like really, really bad. Where we're pretty much yelling and cussing each other out in the parking lot of school. And like, a crowd starts forming, right? So it gets really bad. We break up with each other right then and there or whatever, right? So, it's high school. So you're petty. A whole like week, 2 weeks goes by and we ain't said shit to one another, whatever. And I heard from her friend that she was like pissed. She was embarrassed that that big argument happened and went down, whatever. And I got upset because her friend came and told me rather than her. And I said some things I probably shouldn't have said, whatever. And so that's when shit got real.
Do you remember anything you said?
It was more so along the lines of like, it was calm. I was just like, you tell her, fuck this relationship, fuck, this, fuck that, but it was calm. I wasn't angry or anything about that. I wasn't really upset. You reach that breaking point, you be like, nigga had enough, man. So I said some things, pretty much fuck everything. I think it took about maybe 10, 15 minutes before I got back to her. And so her friend comes by again right before school lets out. And she's like, I'm just letting you know, you need to look out. Like, she's really pissed. Like, she's going to get some of her people to come and, probably fuck you up or whatever, right? I was like, kill that shit, whatever. So, another, 2 weeks goes by. Nothing. No repercussions. I haven't heard from her. No people came to the school looking for me. Nothing, whatever, right? So, I never forget it. I'm at the park playing basketball. It's like Thursday evening or whatever, right? And the park that I used to go to, they have 5 or 6 tables close to the park. So like while you're waiting, you just sit on the tables for the next game or whatever, right? So I'm playing whatever, and I find it weird because all on this court, all the tables around the court, it's females. I was like, that's weird, but I didn't think anything of it, whatever, right? And then we're playing, and it's like I notice more females come, but none of them are in basketball gear. They're more just like chilling, in just street clothes and shit. I was like, this is weird. Maybe, I'm thinking girls like to watch niggas play basketball, whatever, right? So then some more come. So now it's like maybe 17 of them out there, like looking at us play basketball, whatever, right? So the whole time, they're not saying anything to anyone.
That's officially an audience now.
Yeah. But nobody's tripping. Nobody's tripping because, they're just posted up chilling or whatever. They're not saying anything to nobody. Until a loose ball happens. The ball rolls over to one of the girls, right? And the girl proceeds to pick the ball up.
She stops it with her foot.
Stops it with her foot. Picks that shit up. And one of the guys like, hey, ball, right? She proceeds to kick the shit out of the ball across the street. Everybody's like, whoa, hey, what the fuck? And at that, so the girl who kicked the ball didn't say nothing, right? And then but when we reacted, I guess the real leader of the group was like, hey, kill that shit. It ain't about y'all. Y'all need to relax. We after this motherfucker right here. And points to me. It points to me. And it was like, anybody that's with him can feel free to scrap right now, but we only want him. And I didn't know anyone at that park at that time. So literally, they just singled me out, right? Yeah, and I was like,
that's a chick saying shit.
Yeah. And so I didn't even piece it together. Like, because it was like an all-female, most of them like dykes, but it was all females, and I didn't even piece it together that's what the type of repercussions was going to happen whenever, right? I was expecting niggas to come up to the school and do something, right? But I'm in shock. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like going through my memory like, where I know these chicks from? I never seen them in my life. Must be mistaken identity, right? So I'm like, hey, you know what? Hey, it's all good. Like, I don't even know y'all. Look, I'm gonna go get the ball. Like, it's cool. We just trying to play out here playing ball or whatever, right? And then she was like, "Nah, fuck that." And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Is a nigga about to die in these streets by a lesbian gang?" Like, so now it's like you can feel that tension in the air, because the game will not be going on after this. It will not resume. So it's literally me by myself standing at the free throw line at the park, facing 17 lesbian gang members, right? And so they were like, yeah, what's up now? You by yourself? You ain't all that. You ain't tough like that. Talking that what did she say? Talking that G shit, right? But you taught that G shit to your girl. And I was like, son of a bitch. And that's when it all clicked. I was like, this bitch put a hit out on me and talked to a lesbian game to do the work. Right? So
I wonder how much you paid them.
Right. Shit, back
I wonder
then.
I wonder how much your head is worth. Wait, pause. I wonder how much.
Shit, probably.
I wonder how much it would cost to whoop your ass.
at that time, shit, man. She probably was like, I'll give y'all bitches a fucking Foot Locker gift card to kill this nigga, man. So like literally, I'm like, I have a dilemma in my head. Like, okay, all these female lesbians came to this park to whip my ass or possibly kill me. So I was like, okay, look, I don't believe in hitting women, but I was like, I'm going to fight these bitches by myself. 17 against 1. So I just started sizing them
That would
up.
have been completely justified.
Yeah, you got to. Your life is in danger. I didn't know. I didn't know what these bitches was capable of, right? So I'm like
There
literally
was
like
17 of them.
right. And I know, no, and like real talk, I know it's either 16 or 17 because I actually counted the bitches because I was like, damn, 17 bitches. So I'm literally at this point like sizing them up. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take this one out first, because I'm thinking, I never hit a girl before, so I'm at least hoping, I'm a man, granted some of these bitches were big, but I'm thinking one hitter quitters for most of them. So like right when it's just about to escalate, they used to have like the LAPD patrol. They would patrol the park like randomly. And so literally, like right when I was about to just go at it, a police officer pulls by and like parks his, because he used to park the car in front of the courts, and he would like just post up there.
Of course, the police officer would park his car in front of the basketball courts.
Well, he's not going to be in front of the fucking soccer complex,
He's not going to be at the skate park.
Yeah. So that police officer literally saved probably a lot of lives that day or whatever, right? So
mainly yours. Mainly
mine. I mean, it was some big bitches. I ain't gonna lie. And I, was a small guy.
They would have pulled your ass limb from goddamn limb.
Hey, to keep it real, man. I have seen a dude get jumped by a group of females, and they're ferocious in packs. That's real talk. So
yeah, and you might have gotten yourself raped too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
So this went on because I only had like 3 parks that I went to go play basketball at, and my ex, she must have told them all the park I go to, because this shit went on for like 2.5 weeks. Or I'll go to a park and they fucking be there, But after the first incident, they never threatened my life after that. They were just talking shit to me the whole time I was playing basketball. So it's like, imagine
like you were at an away game every time you was at the park.
That's what it felt like. And so here I am fucking up because I'm the only nigga that's having like hecklers and shit, Like, you ain't shit. You ain't shit. Imagine going to the park hearing that shit, right? So that shit fucked me up more than the actual hit, the violence. I was like, I'd rather have you bitches beat my ass and have me go 0 for 12 at this fucking park. So,
hey, apparently, to all our listeners out there, apparently IQ is mentally weak, and he can be thrown off at the slightest, sense of heckling.
I don't give a fuck who you are. Nobody's gonna have consecutive good games if you always playing a fucking away game. You need a home game. You need a home game every now and then.
I can name a few guys.
Huh?
I can name a few guys.
I only know one.
But I guess that's why they're pros.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So the way it ended was just I ended up confronting her about it, and she went about like 2 weeks denying it. And then she came by one day, random, was like, "Hey, you promise not to be mad at me?" And then she told me and shit. So, yeah, bruh. That's the lesbian hit story.
So you had to go for a little while looking over your shoulder. You had to fear for your life like every day.
Well, only after, for the first 3 times I was going to parks, and I was like, oh shit. I hope these bitches ain't here at this fucking park. Like literally like hoping that I don't have to fight or fend for my life and shit. But after the 3rd time, because it went on for like 2 weeks, I realized they were just going to be heckling me the whole fucking time. I was like, fuck. So, yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, that actually kind of, I don't know why, it kind of reminds me of something that I wanted to ask you. talking about sports is as far as like the psychological and physical battles that take part in the NBA, we've seen some of the greatest do it. You know, guys that can win the psychological battle. One of the greatest was like Dennis Rodman. Some would say Draymond Green now is that new physical and psychological bully. Even though I disagree, I think Draymond Green's actually a pussy. But we'll talk about that some other time. But it got me thinking about two guys that were really known for their physical play and how they would just psychologically torment guys. And they played in two different eras, so I think this is a great question. One of the best from back in the day of doing that was Charles Oakley. Oaktree was one of the most physical players we've ever seen play. He dominates you psychologically because you come into the lane, he's knocking you on your ass, and you're questioning whether or not you want to go back in there and do it. I mean, and nobody was an exception. Him and Mike were cool back in the day, but he knocked Mike on his ass on multiple occasions. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And another player, the second player, is none other than Ron Artest. Ron Artest, for those who remember, is most famous or infamous for the Malice at the Palace incident. Ron Artest was not above cheap shots. He was not above flat out hitting someone. He played very physical. He played very dirty. And he was mentally unstable. And he'd be the first one to tell you that. So, with those introductions and player profiles, who do you think would have won the psychological and physical matchup between Ron Artest and Charles Oakley?
You know, it's one of the toughest sports questions I've come across. And that's a tough question.
Oh, by the way, we're going to put this poll up on Twitter to see if we can get any any traction. Any of our Bologna homies want to go ahead and vote on this. We'll have this up on Monday, which will be the day you hear this. So be on the lookout for that question.
Okay, psychological warfare. Who wins? I'm gonna
psychological. It's the psychological and physical.
Physical?
Like, you don't get to choose one or the other. It's both of them. Who is basically gonna win the overall battle and war between these two guys?
Okay, my answers may surprise you. Initially, I was gonna go with Oak, but I'm going with Artest, man. I'm gonna go with Artest, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Now, as far as the physical matchup, I think Ron Artest is probably stronger, just physically. Not by much, because Oak had that like old school grown man strength, but Ron's a big ass dude, right? Now, the psychological aspect, I know people will think, oh, well, shit, Oakley would win that because, Ron would flip out and get angry. I think Oakley would actually get angry first before Artest. And the reason why I say that is because Artest is, like you said, sometimes I've seen games where Ron Artest hasn't mentally been there. Like, he's been mentally unstable during games. So I think if there's a heated battle, there's a possibility that Ron Artest may not even know what's really going on. Like that time he elbowed James Harden, he was like, well, what the fuck I do? I don't know what I did, right? Like, Ron Artest has the ability to really not know what's going on. And I think Oakley will get really frustrated and just throw a punch. And Ron may just eat that shit and smile. I think Oakley is more of an angry person, and Artest is more crazy than angry. So he wins psychologically, in my opinion, because I think Oakley would actually do something physically to Ron to cause like an ejection.
So you think Oakley will break psychologically first?
Yes.
And all right, so I guess now we have to figure out the physical battle. Like, does that mean Oakley will win the physical battle because he breaks psychologically first?
Well, I think I think because he gets angry first, he plays harder, right? But I think Artest is just physically stronger. And I think he wins that physical matchup too. Just anywhere on the court.
Well, here's some stats for you. Charles Oakley, 6'8", 245. Ron Artest, Meta World Peace. I've been calling him by his wrong name this whole time. 6'7", 260.
Oh, 260. Oh man, yeah. That's a sturdy ass dude, man. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Both big ass guys. All right, so here's my pick. And call me, I'm definitely era biased. With that said, I'm gonna go with Oaktree. I think although I do agree, Charles Oakley seems like the guy to throw a punch first. I think that the way the game was played back then, it takes something super egregious for a guy to want to fight back in the day, because the game was played so physical at all times that they were used to certain stuff. I don't think that the newer guys, being that the game wasn't played as physical as it was back then, I believe that certain types of physicality that they had back in the day, like, modern times, they would take that as egregious, as taking it too far. So because of that, I think Charles Oakley's just the gamesmanship he has with his physicality will end up breaking Ron Artest, or Meta World Peace, will end up breaking him first, and he's going to end up flying off the handle and get himself ejected from the game.
That's an interesting point. So you're saying overall the physicality of the game, just a regular game to Oakley is a physical game to Artest. Essentially, that's what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I would agree with that, but I do think there are certain players that can transcend eras and deal with the physicality, and I think Artest is one of them. I think Bron is another guy, not because he's physical, it's just his body is built for punishment like that. He should have been a tight end.
No, he made the right choice.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. If he was a tight end, he wouldn't have any guaranteed contracts, and he'd likely be injured every other season.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah, and he probably would have been told to stand for the national anthem. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Bron, Artest. I can't really think of any other dudes besides those two that could probably play in like the old school era as far as physicality. Is that fucking it? I mean, do you throw DeAndre in there?
No. Yeah, I think there's actually a lot of guys that could play. I even think a guy like Blake Griffin could play. A lot of people call him soft, but Blake Griffin's far from soft. A lot of these guys are just more or less victims of the era that they play in. Like if they played back in the 90s or 80s, they would adapt to the 90s and 80s style of physical play. They're just handcuffed by the rules of today. But then there's guys that are, more frail. Like Kevin Durant physically can't be physical because he lacks the size to be physical. He lacks the muscle, he lacks the girth to be physical. So although he's extremely gifted, he'd get taken advantage of physically by those guys back in the day.
True. Yeah. Yeah. But okay. But then when you mention Blake, see, like stature wise, he has it, but I don't know. See, I don't know how many guys would be able to adapt really. Like if you just throw them back into the 90s and they're dealing with the dirty elbows of the Pistons and shit and the clotheslines of the Celtics. And Blake already is injury prone too.
In all fairness, the Pistons also did clothesline too. So don't sell them short.
Yeah, they got Mike pretty good one time, man. I thought Mike was hurt, man. I think it was like
one time.
No, one time
Mike good several times.
But one time he was rolling around the ground. Shit, I was like, oh, they got him. They finally got him. But yeah, man, that was like you watch some of that shit now, you're like, damn, you can't believe that shit actually happened.
Yeah, I think they really pulled the reins in during the 90s. I think the 90s, they got it right. That was probably the most perfect era of physicality and skill that we had in the game. I think if we could go back to one period of basketball to where we got to see our superstars be great, but we also got to see a physical man style of basketball playing, it would definitely be the 90s. The 90s got it right. The early 2000s were still pretty good. But the NBA today is definitely a lot softer. It's still very physical. Like anybody who says that these guys are just soft, I would disagree. I would love to see them go out there and be able to play physical and bang with these guys, and they likely change their opinion. But the game is softer, but the game is not soft.
Yeah.
And it's not the player's fault. It's the referee's fault. It's the rule changes that are at fault. They're just, again, victims of the era that they play in.
Yeah. I agree with that. I don't think any of these dudes are soft, man. But yeah, the rule changes are nuts, dude. And especially if they end up shortening this season, I'm gonna be pissed, man. I hope they just keep it 82, man. I really do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like a shortened season either. Then how is a player gonna end up, beating scoring records or consecutive games played records, things like that? Like there's a lot of things that they're gonna have to, some records that they're gonna have to like prorate.
Yeah. And now a rule change I am in favor of is if they ever do it, is allowing the marijuana. David Stern released a statement saying he'd be cool with it, and I know Adam Silver has gone on record saying, they would consider it. The question is, the $1 million question is, who's gonna be first? If they legalize it, who's gonna be the first NBA player to blatantly be high out of their mind on the court, where we see them on camera and it's like, that nigga's high out of his mind.
Well, a few years ago, that answer would have clearly been J.R. Smith.
J.R. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
I don't think that's the answer today, though.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go with Beasley. We're gonna go with Mike Beasley for the number one spot. He will not disappoint.
Yes, Mike Beasley is easily my number one as well. And I think a strong number two is, you brought his name up a little earlier. It would be DeAndre Jordan. I wouldn't be surprised if that nigga came to games loaded and put up career highs.
Yeah,
and
man.
that would be a career high for him. Yes, that was. There you go. That was my pun for the week.
Well, yeah. What if people start using that shit and their numbers just go, they just skyrocket. You know, that'd be dope.
Hey, man. I am a strong advocate for marijuana use in all acts of life, not just professional athletes, but professional waiters, waitresses, professional mailmen, professional janitors, professional lawyers. Any job out there, I am in favor of people being able to smoke weed recreationally, just like they are able to have a beer recreationally. So, where if there's a vote that needs to be cast, yet again, I'll go ahead and cast that vote.
Yeah, I agree with that. Why not? Weed's great.
I think all drugs should be legal. I think we can weed out a lot of people if we just let heroin, and meth, and all these other drugs be legal. There'll be a lot of unemployed people. There'll be a lot of deaths, but I think you just sift through the rough, sift through all the garbage, and you get yourself some actually good people out there. I think we just need to go Darwinism with this shit.
Well, I mean, it'd be like it would turn into the fucking Walking Dead. It'd be a bunch of junkies everywhere. Like, I think more than we think.
Yes, there would. There'd be very few functioning people out there. But that's all good, man. Shit. You only get this one life to live. You know what I'm saying? You only get this one body. Why not wreck it as soon as you can?
Yeah. Some people actually live by that. Like, fuck it. I was watching some show and some dude was like, he was like, I tell my wife and kids this all the time, and I don't get me wrong. I want to be there for my kids. I want to be there for my wife, and I want to see them get older and shit. But I'm totally fine with dying right now. I was like, oh shit. He's like, my life
must
is
be a miserable person.
He's like, no, but that's the thing. He was like, my life has been so incredible. I feel like I've done everything I've ever wanted to do, and I'm totally fine with just leaving this earth. And the guy interviewing was like, yeah, but don't you want to like continue to have a great life? He's like, yeah, but what I'm saying is I absolutely have zero regrets. A lot of people say that, but I have zero regrets. And if I left this earth right now, like if I leave the studio right now and get killed, totally fine with it. I was like, damn.
See, that's a very selfish man. And I say that because, yeah, he might have lived a great life on his own, but he has a wife and kids. That should make him want to live. Like, that's something to live for.
You would think, right?
Individual.
Right.
Yeah,
but
so he's just talking about for himself. So like I said, he must be unhappy in his relationships, but very content with his personal life.
Yeah, there might be some like underlying things that need to be addressed. He's just like, cool, leaving this earth right now. Yeah. But that's not the first time I heard this. I used to work with a guy that used to ride motorcycles on the weekend and shit. And he wasn't like a pro rider or whatever, but every now and then he would ride with some former pro, I guess, racers or whatever, right? And one of the guys who I guess is one of the more experienced riders out there, he was like, they basically, he was saying the typical weekend rides that they do, they are going high speed, they are going on like very windy roads, and he basically told my coworker, he was like, so what I'm saying is, I know it's only a matter of time before I die on a bike. I know it will happen. I know this is how I will die. Because I ride every weekend and I go fast. And these bikes, you know, they're not made for the street really. So I know it's gonna happen. And he said, but I'm cool with dying that way, because because I am dying doing something that I completely love. Totally fine with dying on this bike. And my coworker's like, fuck. Like, I don't have that mentality at all. Let me start riding with these dudes. Yeah. Crazy, man.
Yeah, that is crazy. Hey, but to each his own. I don't even really know how to rebut that. I hope he gets what he wants. I mean, I'm not wishing death or nothing on him, but if, however he, feels content and wanted to go, yeah, have at it.
Yeah, more power to him. But damn.
Yeah. I want to die a very, very old man. In my sleep, preferably. Or partying as an old man and then just having a heart attack while I'm partying.
Yeah, just
and
go.
Shutting the party down.
Go like Hugh. I'm assuming Hugh partied to the end. I'm assuming, or close to it. Why not?
Yo, if Hugh was like 40 years old and said, if I died right now, I'd be okay with that. That is the only man that I'd be like, well, shit, I agree, Hef. What more you got to do?
Damn, you might be right. Yeah. What a life.
Yeah, Hef might be the only guy to say that.
Shit.
Switching gears here. I think it's time to introduce the unfuckwittable of the week.
Let's do this.
So, I don't think this will be a popular unfuckwittable. However, this needs to be said. My unfuckwittable for the week are fat people. And let me tell you why. I brought up fat people before, but I just recently got my physical. We've got our benefits for 2018 coming up. So you get your physical, you get your blood work, and at my place of employment, if you have positive, you get your good physical results back, like your cholesterol's good, your blood pressure's good, all that kind of stuff. You get discounts and whatnot, or your deductible goes down. So I'm just listening to people around my office say, well, I'm not going to pass mine. Well, I'm not going to pass mine. I'm not sure if anybody else faces this, but there's a lot of fat motherfuckers that work in my office. A lot of sloppy, out of shape people. And maybe there's somebody out there that's saying, hey, why are you being so flagrantly disrespectful to fat asses? And here's why. It's never cool to not be healthy. It's never cool to be out of shape. It's never cool for your days to damn near literally be numbered, or to wake up. Like, you have to worry about if you get surprised or if you overexert yourself for even a half a second, that you have the risk of going into cardiac arrest. That ain't never cool. That lifestyle has never been jiggy. But we're supposed to be okay. We're supposed to just accept people for how they are. No, fuck that. Get your fat ass in the gym or get your fat ass on the treadmill. Get outside, start walking, start eating healthier, and start making a lifestyle change to get healthy. Being fat is not cool. I'm not going to accept that, and you shouldn't either. Yes, I know some people got thyroid issues, and maybe some people eat because they're depressed or don't work out because they're depressed or not physically able to do it. Yo, cut that noise. I've seen old people in the gym staying healthy. I'm talking about 80. There's like an 80-something-year-old woman that works out in my gym. I've seen handicapped people work out. There's no fucking excuses to be fat if you don't have to. You're just fucking lazy. Get your fat ass up and go to the gym. So, as you can see, this is a topic I'm very passionate about. So, yeah, again, fat people, you are unfuckwittable.
That might be one of the best ones we've ever done. Damn, that was some passion in that one.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I only want people to be healthy. We're the fattest fucking nation on this planet. And we don't even have the most people. It might be good. It actually might be good if the United States of America turns into a third world country. That means there'll be famine and shit going on. That means these fat fucks won't have food to eat. That means everybody will be skinny.
Well, no, that's a good point. I mean, granted, I totally agree with everything you just said. I feel you. Now, I will say this. It would be a lot easier for people to lose weight if America wasn't rigged for people to gain weight. Because the problem is, like, I went to a movie, and I went to like one of those old school movie theaters, not like this, like the Regals and nothing like that, or the Cinemark or whatever, or the AMC, just like a local theater, right? And there was a pretty fat guy in front of me ordering something, and I can recall, like, he ordered two popcorns, two Cokes, and then three three containers of like that ice cream, the ice cream bites or whatever, right?
Wow.
So I assumed that he had kids and shit, but then we go in the theater and he's alone.
By the way, he just dropped $200 on snacks at the movie theater.
Oh, bro, you go to AMC, you're spending a rack. You're spending a rack at AMC. My God. But yeah, like, just the fact that we have so many options. Like think about how many options you have at a fucking movie theater. You know, hot dogs, nachos, shit. When I was a kid, the only option was really popcorn, and you had to sneak everything else into the fucking movie. You know, now they got gourmet burgers and shit. You know.
Yeah, the goddamn movie theater is a restaurant. They be serving alcohol at restaurants. But anyway, back to this fat fuck you were talking about.
Wait. Say that again.
The fat. I said back to the fat guy you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, back to him. Were you done? You said you thought he had kids. I thought there was more.
No, I thought he had kids, and he just ate all that shit.
And this is the same guy that would get upset that United Airlines is going to charge him for 2 seats. The same guy.
Yeah. Now, my thing is, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those guys that stay in tip-top shape year round, but I would like to think, like, there would be some signs for me. Well, there are some signs for me where when I feel like, okay, now I need to get back in the gym, or now I got to change up my diet a little bit, For me, it's like when something simple, putting on getting ready for work. If the clothes feel a little snug than usual, more snug than usual, it's like, you know what? Time to get back in the gym, right? Now I know everyone doesn't have that, but now if I was like a fat guy, right? To me, one clear thing that would make me want to get back in the gym or just start working out or start doing something is when everyone can hear me breathing. When you're so fat, you hear that. I was like, oh shit. But by then though, if you don't give a fuck then, you're never gonna give a fuck.
Yeah. Some people are definitely beyond giving a fuck. And I'm all about not giving a fuck. But there are some things you should give a fuck about. And I think health is one of those things.
Yeah, but it's only going to get worse, man.
Oh, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So I watched a movie recently, one of my favorite movies from back in the 90s. And that movie was Major Payne. Major Payne is a classic.
Oh, yeah. Agree with that, yeah.
Damon Wayans is easily my favorite Wayans brother. I think he's the funniest Wayans brother. And that includes Kim as well.
Shout out to Kim.
Who's your fit? Yeah, Kim Wayans. I wonder what she's doing these days. I haven't seen her in anything.
Dude, man. The last thing I saw her in was that LL Cool J show.
Yeah, in the house.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the daughter from that show, the dope one, she's on crack and looks a goddamn mess these days.
Yeah, man. She been on that shit for a long time, man. For a long ass time.
She was so dope back in the day. And this is like that line from New Jack City when Pookie and his old lady, they were eating some garbage or some shit, and she goes, I was the 1980-something prom queen. This is beneath me. And he goes, yeah, but now you're the prom fiend. That's her. Well, I think it was her name, Maya Campbell, I think. Yeah, she is the prom fiend now.
Yeah, man. She looks bad, man. Yeah. I think Damon is by far the funniest, but Marlon's up there, man. Marlon is still doing work. He's coming for that spot. I don't know if he'll get it, but
no, he won't. So is he your favorite Wayans brother? Because I mean, Damon has been low key. I think I haven't seen him since My Wife and Kids, which was a hilarious show.
Yeah.
He's been off the radar for a long time.
I gotta go with Marlon just because I pretty much grew up on the Wayans brothers, the show. Too. You know what I'm saying?
And he made the show.
He did, yeah, man. So just me watching that show for so many years, I'm more familiar with him than Damon. Like I know Damon and shit, and I've seen all his movies, but the nostalgia, the Wayans brothers, man. You know, so I got to go with Marlon, man.
That's fair, and I wouldn't say you're wrong, because that's a very popular choice. I love Marlon too, but Damon, he has so much character versatility. Like he played, it wasn't Antoine Merriweather. It was, what was the other one's name on A Living Color when they did Men on Films? Anyway, he played the gay dude from Men on Films. He played Major Payne. He played the homeless guy. He played a regular, dad. He played handyman. Like Damon Wayans has so much comedic character versatility that I think that makes him the most talented and the most funny of the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, because you know what? Because Marlon tried to do some crossover shit for a minute, and it didn't really work out for him. I think he was in some G.I. Joe shit, and that shit didn't...
Yeah, he was whacking that.
Yeah.
And Channing Tatum was the lead character, and he's the worst actor of all time.
GOAT. The GOAT. He's the GOAT. Hands down. Yeah. That's there's no debating that. He's the GOAT. Yeah.
There's nobody worse. But also, Marlon Wayans was in Requiem for a Dream, and he was brilliant in Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, he was good in that shit. Yeah.
Also, I did love that movie, Senseless. You remember that shit? Where he took this experimental drug to heighten his senses.
Oh, he was on the basketball team.
David Spade.
I think I remember that. No. Wait, wasn't it?
That's like Ghost Brother or something. That was with Kadeem Hardison. Now this one was he was a student at a college. He was looking to get this like scholarship or this job in finance or economics, and he took this experimental drug to heighten his senses. He could see better, he could hear better, he could smell better, and he used that to like beat David Spade at something.
Oh, I remember that. Because you know who was in that movie? The female that was in that movie, she was in that TV show, Smart Guy. Yeah. She was dope. I forget her name.
Oh, was she the sister?
The sister that was in Smart Guy, she was in that movie. Senseless.
I'm trying to remember. Why can't I remember her in that movie? But yeah, Senseless was a good movie.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of my Marlon has some pretty decent movies back in the day too. I ain't gonna front. I'm just a bigger Damon fan. And Keenan has been out of the picture for quite some time. I haven't seen or heard from Keenan Ivory Wayans in years.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. The last thing I heard about him was the In Living Color reboot. But yeah, that's the last thing. Hey, man. Speaking of In Living Color, something interesting I saw. I was watching an interview with Jim Carrey, right? And now, apparently, there's a whole bunch of crazy shit going on with Jim Carrey. You know, his ex-girlfriend ended up killing herself, and the family.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and there's accusations that Jim Carrey actually has something to do with it. And the family of the girl is suing, or was suing, I'm not sure, Jim Carrey, because they're alleging that he knowingly gave her herpes, and that's what drove her to suicide or whatever. Apparently, you know.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I heard a little while back that wasn't, like, they falsified documents against him saying that he had an STD or something like that, and it was like slander or defamation of character or something. But I don't know very much anything. I don't know anything else about it.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. That's all I know. But I was watching an interview with Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey was acting crazy on this show. Typical Jim Carrey shit, right? Now, it's a tape show, so it's not like a live studio audience or anything. But there's like the host of the show. He consistently talks to the crew in the background. That's like one of his things. He always talks to the crew. So, Jim Carrey comes on the show and he's talking about some drink he always drinks. It's the bulletproof coffee. And he brought some on the show, right? And he's showing the host like how you make it. Essentially just regular coffee, some fucking butter in there, and something else. Bulletproof coffee. So he makes it. He has a thermos. Brings out this big ass thermos, shakes it up, pours a cup of coffee, right? And now keep in mind, everyone on that set is part of the entertainment world. So I'm sure they've heard about the rumors about Jim Carrey passing on herpes to his girlfriend. Now this is before it was determined that they were, faking shit or whatever, if that is true. So he drinks the coffee and he's like, yeah, man, this shit is really, really good. And then he looks at, when he points to the production crew and he's like, you guys want to try this? And before they even say anything, he gets up and he's like, oh, don't worry. This is the other side of the mug, because I know there's some rumors going around. And he proceeds to pass the coffee mug to a lady in the crew behind the scenes working the camera. She takes a sip. He's like, that's good, right? Takes the cup and he's like, you want to try it? Pass to another girl. She takes a sip. Then she passes on to a guy. He takes a sip. I don't know about you, bruh, but if there was even first off, I don't share shit like that in the first place, but I'm damn sure ain't sharing no coffee
I don't drink
mug.
after people.
I'm damn sure ain't sharing no coffee mug with somebody. If I heard he got the herp, or he or she got the herp, fuck no.
All right. So there is so much misinformation about herpes. Now, I'm not an advocate for herpes. I don't want to mislead you. That's not something that you want. But as far as like herpes being spread through like, people drinking after each other, some crazy thing like 1 out of every 2 people has herpes simplex 1, which is, the cold sores you might get from time to time from either, back in the day kissing somebody or back in the day drinking after somebody. Like herpes simplex 1 is the most common herpes, and more than half of the people in the country or in the world have that.
Totally hear you on that, but I couldn't do it. There's like, if there was like, dude,
I'm not saying I wouldn't drink after the dude either. I'm not for more reasons than just his alleged herpes. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that that's exactly how one of those 4 people would have gotten it, which they likely probably, statistically 2 or 3 of them already had it.
Okay, yeah, true, but I'm just saying, me personally, for me, just seeing them like, oh yeah, sure, hell yeah, I'll take a sip. For me, that's automatic. Like, I'm cool, Jim. No, I think Bill wants some. I'm passing on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just off of I don't know, bro. Just.
Yeah. I would have, if I was the first person, I would have let the mug slip out of my hand and I'd have saved everybody.
Yeah, like, oops. Yeah. Nobody drinking that shit. Ain't nobody drinking this shit on this set.
Yeah, and everybody would have dapped me up too. They would have just known. They're like, oh, you're doing God's work.
Yeah, man. I just, because it's just like, I hear what you're saying, but at the end of the day, crazier things have happened. And,
Yeah. Again, I wouldn't have taken a sip either. I would make sure that that's clear.
Oh, shit.
Hey man, I'm gonna go ahead and get going. Just let you know, I will be heading out to Atlanta this weekend for.
Oh shit, the ATL.
Yeah, man. Yeah. My sister who goes to college in North Carolina, she plays volleyball, and she's a senior in college, and she has her senior night game. And I've been a horrible big brother. I have not seen my sister play collegiate volleyball live in person since she's been in college. So there's no way I was missing her senior night, even though I missed her junior, sophomore, and freshman nights.
Hey, you're making the one that counts.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm making the very last time she'll play volleyball at home for her school. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be done. That's proper big brothering right there.
Hey, man. Well, hopefully they get the W.
I hope so too, because their team is not very good.
Yeah, man. That sucks. But hey, man, be careful, man. Be safe, man. Have a safe trip out there, man. It's crazy out there in the ATL.
I appreciate that. It can be. Yes, it can be. My folks live in a town east of downtown Atlanta called Conyers. I think I told you that back when we had Paul on. And don't shit happen in Conyers. Except that one time there was these two twin girls that killed their mother. That happened some years back. But other than that, it's a relatively quiet town.
Other than the fucking serial killer twins. Yeah.
Yeah, other than a murder. Yeah.
That's a statement of the sign of the times, man. God damn.
But anyway, homie, you have yourself a good night. And I'll holler at you, man.
All right, bro. You too, man.
I appreciate it. Hey, as always, man, we're just a couple suburban hood niggas out here trying to make it.
Amen, brother. Amen.
You take it easy, man.
All right. Peace.